So, now we have a character. I suppose you want to know what the clicky-clacky math rocks do. The dice, yeah? Okay, so we'll go down in number order. D4. This is used for smaller weapons and healing potions. The damage, or obviously healing. D6. Mainly another damage dice. D8. Yet another damage dice. D10. Guess what? It's another damage dice. D12. Yeah, I guess you can probably guess what this is. It's another damage dice. The D20. This is the greatest dice known to man. It is used for anything and everything. From trying to persuade the barman to knock gold off of your bar tab, to trying to intimidate the guard to stop him from arresting you after you killed the barman, you know, after he didn't lower your bar tab. This dice will decide your fate. Finally, the D100. This is a percentile dice, used for percentile rolls. It's kind of obvious in the name. I tend to find strange ways of using this because I don't feel like it gets enough love. You have your character sheet, you know what the dice are. Hopefully you've got a set of dice, or in my case, over 30 sets of dice. Let's see how these rolls work mechanically, or at least the rolls from the D20. We will start with skill checks. You might be asked to make an acrobatics check to pole vault over a wall. This would be a roll of the D20 and adding your modifiers. Dave here has a +1 in dexterity, so the modifier is +1. However, if we were asked to roll an athletics check, then we have a +2. We also have proficiency in athletics, allowing us to add our proficiency bonus, which is also +2, meaning the +2 +2 would be +4 total. That's all well and good, but what does the final number actually mean? Well, you don't know, until the DM either tells you or laughs at you. When rolling a skill check, you are trying to beat a number that the DM has set, known as a difficulty class, or a DC. This number depends on the difficulty of the thing you're actually trying to do. So, walking along a brick wall would probably have a DC of 5 or something, whereas trying to literally jump over a castle would have a DC of 30, or more likely the DM will sigh heavily, look at you, and tell you to shut up. Next on the list of dice rolls is a saving throw. These are similar to skill checks, apart from these throws are made in reaction to something, like a spell or a trap. Again, you're trying to beat a DC, but rather than adding your skill bonuses, you add your saving throw bonus. Okay, Dave just opened a trap chest. The DM asks him to roll a dexterity saving throw. Since Dave isn't proficient in dexterity saving throws, he only adds his +1. However, if it was a constitution save, then he would add his +2 from his constitution and his proficiency bonus for another +4. Now let's talk a little bit more about combat and how it works. First of all, you roll to hit. You roll the D20, and depending on the weapon you use, you would add strength or dexterity to it. Then also add your proficiency bonus if you are proficient with that weapon. Dave is proficient in martial weapons and simple weapons. Swinging with his greatsword lets him add his strength bonus, +2, and since he's proficient, he can also add his proficiency bonus, +2. Now you're no longer trying to beat a DC, instead, you are trying to beat the target's armor class, or AC. Nearly everything has an AC, so you can batter a door down if you beat a door's AC, which is usually 10, I think. In all these cases, if you equal or beat that number, then you succeed. Now you've hit, you can roll damage. Again, this depends on the weapon you use. A greatsword is 2d6 plus strength modifier, so 2d6 +2 for Dave. So an initiative roll is obviously a roll of the d20 plus your initiative modifier. This is based on dexterity, so Dave has a +1 in dex, so he has a +1 on his initiative. If you're using books and sheets, double check weapon damage and all that fun stuff. If you are using D&D Beyond, well, all these modifiers and bonuses are added for you, nice and easy. The last dice throw we need to cover would be death saving throws. So this is again a roll of the d20. You're very rarely going to add anything to this, it's just a straight roll. If you get 10 or above, you succeed. If you get 9 or below, you fail. There are 3 death saving throws that you will need to make to see whether you either survive or die. We'll get more into death saving throws when I cover combat in a little bit more depth, but that's kind of the gist of it. Now you know what to do with your dice. Let's go out and start using them.